Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. Another early morning for this one. This one's in for a reckless monster notch, shock relocation, and we're going to be cutting out the C notch that's on it already. Now that the bed's off, you can see what we're looking at. And when I was under the truck, taking the bed bolts off, I noticed that didn't look right. It was way higher pitch. You could see where the bolts are making contact, eating this up real bad. Wow. So, as I'm going to jack it up, I notice what's going on. Let me get this fan out of the way so you guys can hear me. Aim it up real quick, that way it ain't killing me with the sound. Look at that ain't right. So, I'm like, all right, I gotta jack up the rear, get this thing on jack stands. That ain't right. No, that is not good. I'm gonna have to inform the customer on that. What it is they don't have the proper flip kit, or these are loose. I'll have to check the tightness of them, but that should not be moving like that. This thing's in park. All right, we'll get to disassembling this. Continue on the notch, shock relocation kit, and bridge bars. We'll cut this bolt-in notch out. Someone threw some welds on it, which is fine. All right, this one looks pretty good compared to the rest I've seen. All right, let's get on this. All right, as you saw, I got the wheels off, wiring out of the way. I just do want to say, please, if you're taking your vehicle somewhere to get worked on, make sure it's somebody reputable. Just besides this, that's loose. I was able to wiggle a minute ago. Things not bolted together, but a few others. Yeah, that's not correct. That's not correct. So I'll inform the customer of all this stuff, and I'm gonna fix the fuel pump. That needs to be seated correctly, and I'll probably swap that out. If I have a correct bolt for that, I'm gonna pull that one and put that one in for him. I can't let that leave here like this. So remember, if you're gonna have work done, make sure you know that person is reputable and are gonna do it correctly. This bat right there, the rear end being like that, the fuel tank, the fuel pump hanging out like that, both of those could have caused this truck to it'll just go downhill. I mean, I don't know if the customer knew. Some people are unaware about any type of mechanics like this or any type of work like this, and unfortunately people take advantage of people. But again, I'm not gonna let that leave here like that. much better. I couldn't leave that fuel pump open while cutting, grinding, and especially welding. The vapors from that, with it being open, definitely dangerous. So now that's fixed. Like I said, I'll change out that bolt if I have it. I'll check in a little bit. But for now, we'll get to cutting these notches off. I'll also put the cover on the back window first. Now that both of them are tacked in, I'll fully weld the outside on both sides. Then we can cut the centers out and plate them. Moving right along. All right. Next, we'll cut out the centers. Nice consistency. Once we get the centers done, we'll plate it. Then we'll put in the bridge bars. We have the Reckless diamond. We'll put in the center of that. Once we get those done and welded in, then we'll do the shock relocation on each side. All right, moving right along today. You guys, any notches welded in? Need anything cut on the plasma table? Hit us up. If you like what you're seeing so far, hit that subscribe button. Hot one in here. Take this off, take a little break for a little while. Yeah, I was trying to keep the sweat from dripping down my bald head, but that ain't gonna work. All right, I'm gonna take a little break, cool off, try to dry off, get some a little dirty. And then here, let me show you what we got done. All right, we got all of everything welded up, except for the bottom of there, and there on each side, which before I take my little break, I'm gonna actually knock those out real quick. Here, let me show y'all some welding action. Really hot in here, but you know what? It's all right. We still gonna jam out and get stuff done. All right, we'll get the camera back on and we'll weld the bottom side of this. That way the notches are completely done. And then we'll clean up the inside there on each one. We gotta cut the bridge bars, get them tacked in before I tack that in. They have the Reckless diamond, I guess you'd say. So I gotta prep this on each side. We gotta make sure to slide this on before we put that bar on. This is the shock relocation kit, tabs for the bar, adjustments. I'll show y'all how all that works in a little bit. All right. Let's get this knocked out. One step at a time, we're getting there. So next, I have to find out where the customer wants that, whether they want it straight up and down, or pretty much a 45. The 45 is what I like to do. That way you could see it looking down in from the tailgate. Once I figure out where that's going, I'll tack it. But I need to figure out what's going on with this, because before I do the shock relocation, I'm not welding onto that until I know it's at the angle it's supposed to be at least. But I may end up, being that those don't touch anything, I might pull them out, throw a bevel in them, and weld a tab that will let it sit up against this on each side. I'll have to set the pinion, put the pressure of the vehicle on it, but we'll get it figured out for them. This problem obviously has been like this for a while, and I can't believe no one noticed. It even wore out the axle some. See the grooves? That's why Texas 2 links are bad, because it shifts and does this. Luckily it didn't wear through the axle. You've only got 3/16 of a shoulder thickness of material, so I've seen them. It's not hard to rub right through them. Here, let me show you the other one. This one here, I was able to jiggle completely because it was loose. Let's get under here and let me show you the other one. It looks like it's loose as well, and I haven't touched it yet. There. Oh yeah. So you gotta be careful who works on your stuff. Loose. You can see a gap there. You can see that, look, I'm moving that washer by hand. No washer here, and not even tight. This gentleman had a friend install this drop kit. Well, you can't let your friends work on your stuff, not unless they know what they're doing. All right, let's continue and get this fixed. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a piece of material up here on both sides that locks into this and keeps anything from moving. These are what we just cut out on the table. This is gonna go just like this. I'll center this. And this little tab will sit up in here. And it'll keep it from walking. So I'll tack these together. I'll clean this up here, clean this up back here, then mark where it's gonna be in here, peel some of this, whatever material is, paint, and then we'll sand down there, because what I figure is plug weld it there, in there, where it's centered, and then I'll just weld it right along there, and that should be sturdy enough. After testing it, it worked just as I planned. It hugs up and saddles right up against the bottom of the original perch. So I'll go ahead and paint this one, as I've already welded it on both sides. And then I went ahead and plug welded the inside. So now it's welded in the inside of here and the outside of here. That ain't gonna go nowhere. So set the camera up and get it painted. Then I'll install and set it in this side. I won't bolt it down or nothing, but then I'll go ahead and pull the other side, get it welded up, marked, get it painted, and then I'll get it in and go ahead and bolt everything back together. Gave them a few minutes to cool down. Now they're painted. We can go ahead and slap them back in the truck. Let's do that now. All right, they're in. I just have to snug them down. They're a little longer, so the deep socket won't tighten them all the way. So I'll finish tightening them here after I eat or first thing in the morning. Now that it's all nice and secure, nothing moves, no pinion change, bounces, but ain't nothing moving. All right, so now we'll tack up the diamond where it goes, probably weld it, then measure off each end, each same amount, clean that up for the tabs, get the tabs on. Then we'll get the where the shock mounts to the axle. Figured out, cleaned up, tacked up, cycle it through. Everything works, weld it up. Then we can cut the bed and this thing can get out of here. Show everyone what's been going on. The tabs for the shocks, they weren't the correct size. So as you saw, I had to drill them out in the drill press. Well, a few of my bits decided they weren't gonna drill anymore. So I went and got a new one, drilled them out. Now they're set in place. The bottoms are level, so they're angled down just a hair, which is what you want. And it's level on the level. So next I'll weld those up. Once I weld those up, we'll hang the shocks on them so I can mock up where the bottoms go. Went ahead and fully welded all those in. All we have left now is just to mount the shocks to the axle. Once we get that on and done, move on to the bed and get this thing out of here. welding is done. Now we can cover all these good welds up with some paint. And cover them all up. All right, so I'll paint it. We'll get the brake line put on, the shocks put on, get this finished up. On to cutting that bed. If you haven't yet, go hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications. That way you'll know when I got other projects coming out. All finished up. Ready for the customer to come get it. You know we had to tag it. This one was a little bit of work to clean it up, but I wanna make sure it's right. I mean, I'm not gonna let it leave here not correct. All right, everyone, I'm tired. I knocked this one out in 2 days within. I'm ready to clean up. I don't like a dirty shop, you know this, so I need to pull it out, clean it up, and then it's time to go eat. Again, if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, go hit subscribe. Turn on notifications. Got a lot of cool content coming through soon. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching.